Hey there, kiddos. How you doing? Welcome to Sandy's Odds and Bobs. Today we're going to be working on our Sunflower Smiles junk journal that we started, and let's do a recap. Last week we used our cereal box. We covered it with our paper bag. And today what we're going to do is we're going to put in the inside pages and we're going to work on our cover. So let's begin with our cover. Okay. So I was looking through my odds and bobs and I came across this interesting card. Again, when I was teaching, I would have different kinds of images with words so that we could play word association games with my students. And I came across this one with sunflowers and I thought, well, that works perfectly for sunflower smiles. So we were going to work with that as part of our cover. I also looked through my scrap box and I found this really bright, beautiful green linen, textured linen. And so I cut a piece of linen out that was just about half an inch wider than my image that I have, and I frayed the ends so they'd be all nice and neat. Okay, then I went through my lace box and I found some scraps of lace and I cut those to size. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay our lace around our border just like this. And you'll still be able to see the green peeking out a little bit. But I'm thinking that would make a nice little cute cover for our new junk journal, Sunflower Smiles. Even though this says sunflowers, it's okay. It's all good. So that's what we're going to be starting with today. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to glue down our green material to the front of our book. Make sure we got the front. Has a little spot on it. That's how we remember. That's our front. But it doesn't matter because that little spot is getting covered up. And for this, we could use tacky glue to use it, to use the tacky glue on here, but we're going to use fabric tack just in case. I like to use fabric tack, and I did not pre-open my bottle, so after it sits for a little while, it gets a little stiff. So here we go. Oh yeah, that's the fabric tack. So what we're going to do is we're going to very carefully put some glue, and remember I keep it on the side so we don't have to wait for it to all the way get down to the end. And we're not going all the way to the edges, just in case it shows through. I don't know if it will or not, but just in case it shows through, we don't want it to show through. So we're just going to go right there, about ½ inch where we think that our card is going to cover. And we're going to get some lines of glue down there, lines of glue down there. Yeah, do a little crisscross. Okay, I'm thinking that looks pretty good. I'm going to have to get some more fabric tack. Stuff is running out. Okay, so now we're going to literally lay it down where we want it on our cover. And I'm thinking about even. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Okay, looks good. Okay, next we're going to glue our image that we've chosen for our front cover. And again, I'm going to use fabric tack. We could again use tacky glue for this, but fabric tack, look, it sticks, it dries quick. I like that. And this time we will go all the way to the edges. Come on out. There we go. All the way to the edges. Because it will not go through to the front. Let me do the scribble scrabble, scribble scrabble, scribble scrabble, scribble scrabble. Looking good. Woohoo! We're going to lay that in the center. Yeah, looks good, looks good. Press it down. Looking good. Where it should. Okay, and then the fun part. we're going to be putting this on. Now again, lace usually has a front and a back side. The back side is a little flatter, not quite as defined. The front side will be a little higher in definition, a little bumpier. So that is our bumpy side. We're going to put our sides on first, just because we want to. I'm thinking, ooh, this is hard to tell here. This is bumpy. That's not. Okay, so that's one good side. This looks like the right side, and that's not. Okay. So we're going to do our sides. So this means this little girl going to go at the top. There she goes, right there. So that's the way we're going to do that. Okay, and we are going to put a line of glue just outside our image on the green fabric. But we're going to overlap that little bit of edge that overlap the image just a little bit, just like that. Perfect. Okay, let's do the same for the other side. All right. Yeah, I really like the idea of calling this Sunflower Smiles because, you know, you look at sunflowers and how can you not smile? I mean, they're such a bright flower. They look so happy. If you were to give them an emotion, I would say happy sunflowers. And that's basically what we're going to be creating as a theme to this journal is positive thinking, happy thoughts, la 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 la. Yeah, it can be so pretty. Yeah, there we go. We might have to come in and do some more corners on that, but that's all right. See how this tucks over. And that's looking pretty good just by itself. Yeah, yeah, that looks good. And shall we do the bottom? I think we shall. Bloop. Okay, now we're gonna pack this little girl away. There you go. There you go. Have it tacked. Replace your cat. I'm going to tuck that down just ever so slightly. There you go. It's looking good. Yeah, there we go. How's that looking? Yeah, I like it. Now, if you find that the brown paper is a bit too plain, we can always go in there and smudge it up with something or create some kind of texture around it, but right now I'm thinking it's fine. Okay, so we got that done. That looks nice. That's going to look very, very nice. That leaves enough room for us to create a hole there so we can have tie of our ribbons. That would be good. We got it on straight. That's always a good thing. Okay, so now we're going to go on our inside. Again, what I did was I already pre-cut some papers, and this is just regular scrapbook paper. But when you're measuring to your inside, you don't have to get all particular about the measurements. It's mostly visual. I usually have a 1/4 inch all the way around each edge, and I want to overlap the spine, but not all the way to the other side. This is going to help reinforce that center part, our spine. So we're going to be gluing this all the way over, and then the other piece will overlap as well, and it will be just like that. But we're going to glue this side. We're going to glue the back side down so that we have the top side, the front side is going to have that seam in the back, so it won't be quite so obvious. So we're going to do that. And to do that, we are going to use our handy dandy glue stick. All right, very good. Ooh, fresh glue. Love fresh glue. Yeah. And you want to make sure that you, again, are covering all the edges. Now, we could, again, use wet glue, but I find that wet glue just takes a while. It buckles, and you have to wait for it to dry. It just doesn't give you instant satisfaction. Instant gratification, satisfaction. There you go. There's two words blended together. How do you like that? Wow. I don't even think I can say that word again. Oh my gosh. But at any rate, here we go. We're going to make sure that we have all of our dry spots covered. And again, to check your dry spots, you want to look to the side where your light is. And you can tell if you have dull spots on your paper, you didn't get any glue on there. And it's important that you get glue all the way to the edges. I've got some down here I missed. And you may have to use that glue, work that glue a little bit more. That's okay. Let's get all those dry spots covered. So that's going to make a world of difference when we put it into our book. We want it to stay down. We don't want it bubbling up. Not at all. There we go. Looking good, looking good. I think it's doing good. Hope I didn't get my head in there. I'm looking to see if I got any dry spots. It's like, okay. There we go. Yeah, it's good. Where's our cap? Hello, cap. Okay, there we go. Snap your cap. Okay, so we're going to put this one down first. This is our back. Make sure we got it on the back. Okay, flip, flip, flip. Remember, we're going to keep it at 1/4 inch from all edges, and we're not going to cover that fold area. That's why I like using cereal boxes, because it's such a defined line there. Makes it super easy to figure out how to do this. It goes on so fast. I love it. Okay, let's see. We can rub, rub, rub. Make sure that's all nice and flat. No bubbles. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, so let's do that again. But we gotta flip this over. Use a different paper. And do it again, do it again. Okay, here we go. This part goes really fast, which is really nice because you want to get to the fun part, which is getting your signatures put together and getting them sewn in. Then you can really start playing. That's the really fun part. You play with the pages. Now you could just make these up ahead of time, and then when you feel like going and play, you just go grab one and play. Start right away. Instant gratification. Not satification or whatever it was I said before. It's like, oh, what was that word? Yeah. It's all about having some fun, especially when you've got a very positive journal theme going that we are going to be working with. Having very fun times. What makes us smile. You know, happy things, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. You know, like Peter Pan, think happy thoughts. There you go. All right, we're doing good. Snap our cap. See, we used a half of a glue stick to get all that done. Just go through a lot of glue. But that's okay. It's fun. It's a fun way to go through glue. Okay, so here again, we're going to go 1/4 inch all around. Make sure we're not getting screwed up a little bit. We want to make it match. We've got it cut so that it fits. Okay, and give it a rubby rub rub. Rub, 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 rub. And see those 2 extra layers right down there? That will help strengthen the spine. That's always a good thing. Oh, that looks good. That feels good. All right. Well, we're going to let this little girl dry. How are we doing over here? Ooh, very pretty, very pretty. We're going to set her aside and let her dry. And then what we're going to do, get rid of our glue papers. Thank you. And then we're going to work on our signatures. Now, for this journal, I decided to make 3 signatures. I've already cut my pages. Got some glue on there. Already cut my pages to the size I need. And again, depending on the size of your journal will determine the size of your pages, obviously. So, now, our journal is going to be a 9, oops, there you go, It's a 9 by 6. Oop, there you go, 9 by 6. So our pages are going to be 1/4 inch each side. They're going to be the same size as our inside cover. So it's going to be 8.5 by 5.5. Woo, 5.5 approximately. Okay, so we got a little hangover. That's all right, because our journal is 6, so we still will have a quarter inch showing on that side. So we're all good with that. Okay, so we've got our pages. Now, selecting your pages is totally up to you. You can select whatever pages you want. I had a boatload of scrapbook paper, and so I decided, well, I am going to use as much scrapbook paper as I can. So here it is. I used a lot of scrapbook paper. Oh, what is this? This is an envelope. I also used envelopes. Okay, so now how many scrapbook papers do you need? How many pages do you want? Here's a graphics page, graph page I should say, and more scrapbook papers. It depends on the thickness of your spine. It really, really does. Okay, and this page, I like to mix them up with different kinds of papers. This is copy paper that I grunged up with blackberry seeds and let it dry. So it still has literally some blackberry seeds stuck on it. And those will just pop off. Hello. And again, let's see, we got 2 different kinds of envelopes, you know, sort of change it up a wee bit. And then we got this paper, which is like a drawing paper. I don't remember where I got this from, but there it is. So we're going to use that as one of our pages because it's nice and thick. It has a really nice thickness to it, and could possibly paint on that. And then on the inside signature, the last page that you're going to use, I like to have something that's colorful and bright, that can be used as a double spread. That's what they call when you're using 2 sides of your paper for your pages. It's called a double spread. And that way, you know, the person who gets the journal can decide if they want to make a big construction or if they just want to use it separately, but it's all good. So again, how many pages do we need? Like I said, it depends. Now, I usually like to use about 15 pages. So let's see, I think, plus a few extras. Okay, so I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, don't count the envelopes, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so I have 14 actual pages. Plus I have 2 envelopes. Now I'm considering the 2 envelopes as 1 page, so 15 pages, although it would be technically 16 if you want to count each envelope separately. But there again, I think they're going to be fine for the thickness. Let's check them out because I did all 3 signatures already. So they're all ready to go in. This one we have to work with. These 2 have already been finished and ready to sew. This one we have to work with. So the way I test it to see if I have enough is I will go in to the journal and I will look and see how it looks like that. Looks like it has plenty of room there to grow. Yeah. And also I like to test it by pressing down. Okay. Ooh. Okay, we moved it too soon. We'll press those back down. And if pressing them down, they are half the depth of our spine, because our spine is right there. They are half the depth of the spine, pressing down, then that knows that you can expand that. So, and it will expand as we put more stuff into it. So this is just the perfect size. And again, we're going to burnish that down. That hasn't dried yet. So there we go with our signatures. Go down, little girl. There you go. Ugh, she's not ready to bend. That's one thing. If you get too anxious, try to be patient with these little things, because they do need to have time to acclimate and to dry. So we're going to let you go over there, and we're going to work with this signature. Now, when I put envelopes in my signatures, where's our first row? I want to prep them. Now, if you have an envelope in your signature that looks like that, and you have, let's see, let's find something that we can stick in here. Okay. And you're going to try to put something in there. That's really, really tight. Really, really tight there. So what I like to do is I like to open that opening up a wee bit. And what I'll do is take a ruler and a pencil, and I will mark it right there, like that. And I will cut this and this away. Cut it away, cut it away. Okay. Now, I'm trying to be very careful. We're cutting. Try to stay on the lines, you know, try to meet craftsmanship. We want to try to keep our craftsmanship up. Goes in odds and bobs. We'll be seeing that in another episode, I'm sure. Okay, back my odds and bobs box. I got to show you this. Like, pencils fell over. It's getting pretty full. It's getting pretty stuffy. So we're going to have to be making some clusters out of this stuff pretty soon. It's like, oh, I'm too full. Okay, so here we go. Let's get this little guy finished. Boop, all the way to the edge. It makes a nice straight line that way. Bobs. So now, when we put it in our signature, preferably without bending it, and we go to put something in it. Okay. Oh, so much easier to get to. And that gives it a little area here where you can actually be able to pull it out if you want to, too. Let's see, let's check and see if we got something a little shorter. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, see, and that gives you room where you can pull it out, you can put it in, pull it out, put it in. It's all good. And it doesn't get caught up in anything. And, you know, what use is a junk journal if you're not going to be able to have fun with it? And you don't want to get all frustrated trying to put things in. And again, you'll see this is really loose here. We'll fix that. We're going to, when we start to decorate our journal, we'll start putting stuff over that. So that will be nice and solid, and it'll just go in and come out. That's not a bad piece of paper for a journal card. We might have to work with that. We'll see. Okay, so that's how we work with our envelopes for that one. Let's go. I think we had two here, I do believe. Where is it? I saw it there. Okay, so here's our other one. And you'll notice that I have them facing different directions. That's always good just for making it interesting. So there again, we are going to take this to the side, use our ruler, come over here, get our pencil. And we're going to see where the top of that makes it really nice there, because that's a nice edge to start with. And we're just going to draw a pencil line there, and then we're going to cut that off. Okay, careful, cutting the sides. Okay, and we cut down it, and again, if it's a little jaggedy, it's okay. Oh, it's also cut. Interesting. Huh. Okay, let's see. Oops, hey, good. Yay! That might be why it was a little jaggedy. Here, let's tidy that up a wee bit. Ta-da! Boop, boop, boop. Be gone. There you go. Lots of pops. Okay, so let's get this other side done. Yeah, try to use envelopes that aren't glued together. It makes it easier to fix them like this. Yeah, I don't know how that one got stuck, but you know, moisture happens. So again, let's see. Get this put in here like so. And I want to make sure, now you don't always have to do this, but I like to have my envelopes in the center. That just, for me, that works out better. But you can move it to the top if you want. You can move it to the bottom, but I like mine in the center. And let's see, where's the rest of our pages? Right here. Looking good, looking good. Let's check out our card. I don't know if this will fit quite well. Fit this way. There you go. And again, that's wonky, but that's okay because we'll put a little piece of paper over that or some washi tape, or as we go to decorating, it's not a big deal. Okay, so that's looking good. All right, so there's our envelopes. We got our envelopes done. We got our pages ready. So guess what's next? Now it's time to bring out the sharp things. Oh yeah. Okay, so I like to use a pokey tool. Some people use needles, and that's okay, but you know, after getting your fingers jammed, I like something I can grab onto that will not jam my fingers. And again, I don't know where this came from. I've had it for, we'll just say, years. And it has a nice little grip there that helps you grip things, and a nice little point. Really nice. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go to our center, because now we're going to be marking our pages. And what we need to do is get some clips. We're going to make sure that our pages are squashed up there together. Make sure our envelope is in the center, or is as close to the center as we can get it. And we're going to clip it there. And we're going to get another clip. These are called bulldog clips. They're good for some things, not always for every project. If you need a softer grip, then what I would suggest using is your handy dandy everyday clothespin. That makes a softer grip, and it doesn't leave a mark because it has that flat edge there, so it won't leave a mark in your paper. It's going to be okay with this. It's pretty sturdy. Okay, we need to make sure we got that really close together, as you can see. And down and flip. Okay, so those little guys should be good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to measure where our center is. Our center, being 8.5, is going to be, can you guess? 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4. Boom, 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 and 1/4. So that's where our center mark is going to be. Put a little pencil line there. Won't see that pencil line because the little dot is going to disappear when you poke a hole in it. Poke a hole right through it. Okay, then I like to go 3/4 inch from the edges. Not an inch. Inch seems to be too long. 3/4 seems to be just right. 1/2 inch too short. 1/4 inch, absolutely no. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3, and put our little pencil dot right there. Okay, so there's our 3 dots. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to be poking the holes. And the best way I've found to do it is just to hold it in your hands wet. Hold it in a V shape. Hold it in your hands and just go down to the center. There again, we're going, oh, you know what? I almost forgot. When I bind stuff, I almost forgot my telephone book. Woo, I'd be poking holes in my mat. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this is a telephone book. It's well used. As you can see, I've cut on it and I've poked things in it. I usually use it to poke my signatures. So here again, we're going to start again, and we're going to go into that center dot, and we're going to just drill it, basically pressing and twisting, pressing and twisting. And you know you got it when you stuck in the book. Woo! There we go. And twisty, 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 twisty up. Now the center one's going to have 2 threads going through it, so we want to make that kind of big. So I'm going to drill it pretty good size. That's good. That's a good size. Okay, so let's do our pokies at the top or the bottom, whichever one this is going to be. Twisty, 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 drill, drill, drill. Stuck. Yeah, now this one only has a single thread going through it, so it does not have to be quite as big, but we do want it well defined. We can see light going through it. We know we did a good job. So let's do that next one. Let's get it up. Make sure we're going through the center. Yeah, see, that's good. That's what you want. You want to be able to hit as close as possible to that fold edge. Okay, so let's go again. Pokey, 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 twist, 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 pokey, 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 twist, twist, twist. Yep, we're through. And, ooh, spot on. Yay! I love it when it works. And we're just going to make sure that's a good, well-defined hole. Ta-da! Excellent. Now we have that. What we need to do is determine where our holes are going to be in our book. Okay, first of all, we're going to have 3 signatures. So we have to determine where our center is. Okay, we have from one edge, let's see if we can find a good spot. Okay, so that's basically 1. We'll go 1.5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 3 is going to be our center. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll call that our center dot. And I'm just visualizing here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Dot there. And at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Dot here. Okay, so that's our center. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go 1.5. 2, 3. How about that? 1, 2, 3 again. Threes have it. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. There we go. Interesting how that worked out. So those are going to be the 3 holes for our center holes. And we will make sure that we have our measurements. Double checking always. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, then we go 1, 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, let's check at the top. So where we were working with 1/4 inches, we are now working with 1/8 inches. So 1 under center. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, so you notice that we have a little more space on each side, and that's fine because we're going to have pockets on the front and the back, so that's going to take up a little bit of that space. So let's see how this little girl going to go. Now I have one page that has numbers on it, so I know if those numbers are in the correct position, which it's not. We do a little flip. There we go. Now we know which side is up. Okay, and let's make sure we got that side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually use our pokey tool for this. And we're going to find our center. And see how that's looking. Up. Okay, make sure that pages are still working. Okay, that is, ooh, oh, okay, my center's a little off. It's okay, because this is where we want it to go. And again, we're going to go squeeze, 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 push, 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 all the way through. And this may take a little longer because we got 2 layers of paper plus cardboard plus paper bag but we got it. Good chunk. Okay, so that's our first hole. Boom. Let's see where our next one is. Came down a little farther than I needed, but there we go. And push, push, push. Wait. Twist, twist, twist. One of these days I'm going to get me an awl that has a ball on the end of it, because this does poke into your hand, as you can see, even though I'm trying not to let it do that. Okay, and ooh, it's really stuck. Let's see. Okay, so we got it in the right position. Again, you know, my pencil lines aren't exactly right, so that's okay. It's got to be in the right position, so we're all good there. That was a guesstimation. Okay, so that's there. And let's see where this goes. Yep, right there. Okay. Give it a go, round and round and round we go. Push, push, push. Twist, twist, twist. Push, push, push. Twist, twist, twist. And you know you got it, and it's stuck to the book. Oh, perfect. Okay, so those are our 3 holes. Those are our 3 beginning of our signatures. And I'll go ahead, I'll do these other signatures off camera, but I'll go ahead and show you how we sew these in. Okay, so you'll know how to sew in a signature. And then it's just basically rinse and repeat sort of thing. Yeah, just like you do your hair, rinse and repeat. Okay, so again, we want to make that hole big enough for 2, that hole big enough for 1. It's coming through nicely. Big enough for 1. Yeah, let's see, and it's dried now, so it's able to handle that bending. And while we're here, where's my eraser? Yeah, this will do. Okay, so we're going to erase this guy. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it does to me. Okay, so now, when you get ready to sew in your signatures, okay, make sure that your signatures are up the way you want them to be. And that means this is the top, this is the bottom for me. So this is the front, this is the top, this is the way it's going to go in. All right. Ta-da. All right, so now the rule of thumb with sewing in your signatures is you'll take 3 lengths of your thread. Now I have in my stock this cute little soft fuzzy thread. You want to make sure this thread is good. You hear that? Make a little music, do a little dance. Make sure that it's nice and sturdy. You do not want dry rotting thread. I get most of my thread from thrift stores or yard sales, and you have to be careful because sometimes the thread is so old that it was dry rotted, and the last thing you want to do is have to re-sew your signatures because they fell out because the thread was not sturdy enough. I like that. Okay, so once you've tested your thread, you know it's nice and sturdy. You're going to take 3 lengths. And it's approximate, it doesn't have to be exact. 3 lengths of your page. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Now again, it's just approximate. Snip, snip, snip. Then you're going to thread your needle, which is where? Right there it is. And this looks like might need a little extra glue on there. Hopefully it will go through well. Just a little bit. Yes, okay. Whew. Sometimes I wonder. Whew. Okay, so now we're going to sew it in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. 3-hole pamphlet stitch. We don't need this anymore right now. Work with you later. And we're going to start in the center. We're going to put our needle through the center, and then we're going to come over here and put our needle through the center hole of our cover. Then we're going to go to the top and go out one side and in through the other. Okay, so we're going to go through the top, bring your needle all the way through. This gets a little bit clumsy sometimes, and then see, this is why it's important to have a good size hole so that you can have your needle go easily through that. Okay, so we're going to bring it out to this side, and we're going to pull, and you want to keep about, I'd say, 6 to 8 inches of a tail there, and you're going to bring it all the way down, but you know it's not going through there. It doesn't have to. This is a 3-hole pamphlet. I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom, push it out through that hole, no hole, there you are. Okay, try not to lift up your signature quite so much. You want to keep it as low as you can so you don't lose that thread. Otherwise you end up having to do it all over again. So we're going in that last hole through the back of the spine. It's looking good. Okay, then this is where it gets interesting, because we got to make sure that's nice and sturdy. And now it's going to go through here. Now the important thing is when you're going through this center hole is make sure you don't get it caught on this thread somehow. This is not good to get caught on that, because then it will ruin your day. As far as, so what I like to do is I like to take that tail, boop, boop, and I hold on to it at this side. That way it's pull a little bit. It's nice and tight, and we can go over to the side so it doesn't catch the thread. Same thing for the signature. Let's see if we can get it in there. And you want to I know. This is a little wiggly. Okay, cooperate. Oh, there you go. Okay, and you need to test it to make sure you don't. Good. If you can move that freely, then you know you haven't caught it anywhere. Okay, so now we're going to have one thread on one side of this, one thread on the other side, and now we're going to let the needle go. Let it go, let it go. We're going to very carefully but firmly tighten those strings up. You want to hear the music. You want to hear the music. Okay, we can get rid of these guys because they've done their job. Thank you, gentlemen. You may go back to your place. Over there. And got it going good here. Ooh, looks nice. Now, you want to make sure it's nice and taut. That one's not so taut. Look at that. Ooh, I got to tighten it up. Okay, so let's make sure they are tight. And if they're not even, you know, that's okay. Keeping it tight. I like to wrap it around my fingers so I can keep that tight, and then I'm going to test it. Oh, that's a good sound. That's what you want. That's what you want right there. You want that sound. If it's not making like a little plink plink sound, you haven't got it tight enough. Okay, so got it tight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a square knot. That means over, under, under, over. So we're going to go over and under, and then all the time I'm keeping this very taut as I can keep it. Put my thumb there just in case. Okay, hopefully that worked, and we still got our perfect. Double check always. Okay, so we went over and under, so now we're going to go under, under, and over. Okay, and that creates your square knot. Boom, boom, boom. Ta-da! Now with these little ends here, people do different things. It just depends on what you feel like doing. You can tie them in a bow, ta-da, 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 like that, and have it just like that. I find that a bit much. when I'm doing my pages, or you can let them dangle and put little doodads at the bottom. It could be flat images, or you could put beads on them. Wouldn't get all bulky with it, but I prefer doing that because it sort of keeps it thin and you're able to visualize more of the center part of the page. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to let it hang. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and when we lay it down, you'll notice that there's a little bit there, a lot more here. Well, the reason is because of that. So this is just the first signature. We're going to be putting in our other two signatures. So the next time we get together, we're going to have our signatures sewn in, and then we'll start working on our pockets and other things that we want to put in here. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something about how to make a journal and how much fun it can be. And we're going to have a lot of fun with this little sunflower smiles. Okay, so thank you for stopping by Sandy's Odds and Bobs. And if you like this video, put the like button, press it down there, put your thumbs up in the air, just like you do not care, sort of thing. And subscribe, because we've got a lot of things that we can share together and a lot of fun that we can have. So thank you again for stopping by Sandy's Odds and Bobs. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.